All right, what's up, guys? So, my good friend Hot T, aka Ray Rahimi, she has uploaded. It's been a minute since she's uploaded too. Like, I was like, no, I had to go and check. I'm like, dang, man, when was the last time she uploaded a video? Because I know, like, no, I wanted to get back into like watching her videos and stuff. Because I know there's like a gang of news that I've just been missing out on. But anyways, yes, she has returned. She has uploaded a video a week ago titled Brooks Schofield, I think that's how you say her last name, crashing out over engagement, and here's why. Yeah, you know, so there's like it all started yesterday when Brooke Schofield, I think, announced her engagement to her boyfriend of around a year. So why is she crashing out? That would be my question. I'm like, you get engaged and then you just have a good crash out. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, let's go ahead and see what this is all about. Yeah, this is like that side of the internet where I'm not invested into it. But if I see a friend of mine's talking about it, I'll be interested. I'll see what it's all about. But yeah, make sure if you guys haven't, go subscribe to my friend Hot T. And with that being said, let's go ahead and check out this video.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. First and foremost, yes, I have been away for months, I know. It's because I had to study and take a whole ass bar exam, so there's that. But
Yeah,
let's talk about
if you guys follow her on social media, Instagram, then yeah, I was like, I knew, but I was like, I just didn't know if I would, like, and not so much as like not being allowed, but I'm like, that's her business. I feel more comfortable if a person tells their business than me. I ain't trying to be that gossiper and things, even though it's like, yeah, I am reacted to her channel. Still though, I feel like any info that that needs to be said about her, I'm like, I'm gonna let her say that. But anyway,
Brooke Schofield, because she seems to be going through it hard. I actually feel bad for her at this point. Well, she has technically been going through it for a minute now, which is one of the reasons why her and Tana had decided to probably cancel their podcast. Canceled. Haha.
Oh, wow.
When their contract is up by the end of this year, and one of the main reasons for that was,
Yeah, I remember she had a podcast. I mean, I would like, only time I would really hear about it is if I was watching a Hot Tea video, but dang, that's crazy. I mean, I guess like they'll go their separate ways and then have like their own podcasts and things, but yeah, that's one thing about it. It's like, cuz there's even an old friend of mine where it was like her and her friend kind of had like a podcast thing going on, and yeah, it's like, you just looked up one day, then it was gone. I was like, dang, I don't know, like that. Yeah, that friend, it was even somewhere, it's like they dropped contact with me, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm like, hey, that's your life, that's what you got going on. I'm gonna be over here focused on myself. So, but yeah, I mean, it's like, if you guys ain't have the, like, don't have the time for it, then it's one of those things. That's why I'm like, it's one of those things where I'm like, hey, if we can't like meet up, because like anybody that I work with, I'm like, I want to like work with you. I don't want it just to be like no business. Like, no, I want this to be like a friend of mine. So yeah, that's why I'm like, yeah, it's like we gotta do like Discord stuff, or if we can meet up and then do like anything content related, cool. But yeah, it's like it has to be like a place like with like a friends, like friends that you call family. But it can't just be like, oh, like, let's just start a podcast and we don't even really know each other. Like, you guys are discovering yourself and trying to discover a podcast at the same time. That's doing too much. So, but anyways,
all of the backlash that they would receive after each episode and how it had put a strain on both their mental health and their relationship. But I think that this week's events were just the cherry on top, which ultimately led to Brooke's crash out. It all started yesterday when Brooke announced her engagement to her boyfriend of around 1 year. Brooke's fiance goes by Miles McFly. Now, this is old news, but last year when people found out that they had started dating, online sleuths had uncovered an old Ask.fm account where in mid-2015, aged around 29, Miles professed love for a 17-year-old model named Isabella Pescart. He said, "So I've been thinking about how to write this, so here it is. Isabella Pescart is one of the bestest and greatest people I know. She's not only my beautiful and caring girlfriend, but she's also my best friend that knows when I'm upset without saying anything. She knows who I am, and she knows I would do anything to make her happy. Sometimes I think to myself,"
I'm like, that's weird, bro. I'm like, that's one of those things where it's it's I couldn't even do no stuff like that for a movie role. Like, there's just some things where I'm like, yeah, even as a joke, I'm trying to think of some other cases and scenarios. Yeah, bro, that's just weird. I'm like, that's some weird stuff, man. It's just this one thing. If it's like maybe a year difference still, it's like I don't know. Like, I guess like if y'all have known each other for some time, then okay. But it's like that age gap though. Like it be tripping me out though. Like people, they just don't be. They really be taking that like age is just a number thing, to the heart. And I'm like, yeah, and it can also add some numbers of taking place behind the like it's this like big giant building with like multiple like units, and then they put you in your own, and then they close these bars, and you in there for a certain amount of years because the judge said so. And you would think that would go through people's head, but they're like, nah, bro, we just gonna just be out here acting weird and stuff. But anyways,
damn, I'm one lucky guy, and sometimes I think she's do good for me and that I don't deserve her. We've been through a rough time, we barely see each other, and even if she's far away, I know she misses me just like I miss her. But we've been already 5 months together, and I know there's still more to come. So baby, happy 5 months. These 5 months have been amazing and unforgettable. I'm so happy to have you in my life and call you my princess. I love you, baby girl. So this was posted back in July 2015. Isabella was born in May 1998, which same. So she would have been barely 17 when he made this post. So while this Ask.fm is not definitive and his account is no longer active, so you can't access it at this point, I do remember having personally accessed this account last year when this matter had first came up, so I know it definitely existed. And also, sleuths had found this comment on one of Isabella's photos from 2015, which is just gross. Mind you, she would have been 17 at the time. Brooke responded at that time to this entire situation. She DM'd back to one person saying he did not date Isabella. It's someone he's been friends with for years. I don't know what that post is or what it's from, and neither does he. Everyone,
fam, that's something where I'm like, look, fam, I have some friends where I'll hype them up. I'll say a few good words about them and stuff. That was a love post. I'm like, nah, that's something where I'm like, friends that, like I got love for it, things. I wouldn't make no post like that for them. I'm like, if anything, I would just say something, like that comes off more silly and something that I would usually say rather than, some stuff like that. That's what you usually say to somebody when you in a relationship with them. I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm just not that good of a friend to where I would say some stuff like that, but yeah, I'm like, hey, it's one of those things though where I'm like, nah, bruh. I'm like, yeah, that's reserved for like, girlfriend, wife, fiance, significant others, stuff like that. A friend, if a friend contacted me, like I'm trying to think of a friend. Yeah, let's say my best friend since I was like 10 years old. If he contacted me talking about, can you make a post like this for me? I'm like, that's not gonna happen. I'm like, I'll call you my brother. I'll dab you up and stuff. But I'm like, as far as that, that's a no can do. I'm like, if the friendship ends, I'm like, hey, then it was real, bro. Thanks for them late night Call of Duty sessions. It did. I appreciate that we had each other's back throughout school, but you ain't getting no posts like that out of me.
Everyone online hates me, and I understand why, but this is such a horrible thing for someone to fake or make up. Sophia dated his friend who was not Miles's age, and that's the only reason he was even around. That's not what the evidence indicates.
Yeah.
I mean, her response never really made sense. Like, there are literally so many pictures of the two in bed together. But it's also just like, whatever. There's literally nothing we could do, so we all kind of just moved on until this week, which, as I mentioned, Brooke and Miles got engaged. So obviously there are some unhappy comments both on Instagram and TikTok, and Brooke has been a busy girl responding to every single
her name sounds familiar though. Like I'm gonna have to like I don't know who she is, like, but I'm like the name. It don't know why it sounds familiar.
Like for some reason she thought to post this TikTok going through a bunch of her hate comments and showing that they follow her. Like, okay, when he's responded saying she had the time to do this, but like, just so happens
that's how the internet works. I'm like, fam, do you know how many people that hated me but they subscribed to me or follow me and then they be starting up crap? I've gotten to a point where I realize that people do that. And so I'm like, yeah, let me just go ahead and block them because I know that they're just following me just so they can see when I post, start some crap, and I guess like try to like get into an argument with me. And I'm like, I ain't even trying to. I'm like, subscribe to me if you here to watch my videos and like it and say positive things. But if not, I'm like, I just like go watch somebody else. But anyways, but yeah, it's like, that's the thing. I could say stuff like that. People are not gonna listen. They still gonna follow you, subscribe to you, and they just doing that just so they can hate on you. It's like, oh, now I can be updated to hate on you and things, rather than, oh, I'm having to like check all throughout the day and stuff. So
To
anyways.
not comment on a single one about the creepy man she's with. Bye. The only few comments that I could find in response to her partner was this one where one user commented, "The ring doesn't remove the allegations, dear." And she responded saying, "Mind you, there is not a single human person to validate." Another user commented, "Girl, you've been dating for like a month." She responded saying, "We have lived together for a year, question mark, ha 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 ha."
I'm like,
Wow,
what's
so funny, Brooke.
engaged that
And another
fast?
user commented,
I'm like, fam, this ain't no. Well, I guess not, because 90 days is 3 months, but yeah, it's like, okay, like what, 365-day fiance. I'm like, no, that's not enough. I'm like, I need years. I'm like, we need contracts. I'm like, I need like an NBA contract length or something. Like, I need like a 4 million, or yeah, for a 4 year deal where it's like I'm signing. I'm like, okay, sign there, stuff like that. But I'm like, a year. I'm like, fam. I'm like, that's even rookies. They get longer contracts. They get like 2-3 years at most, like 2.5 years, something. But I'm like, dang, a year that y'all is. Huh, wow, all right. So it's like you guys just see each other on the street, like, hey, you want to live together? Yeah, sure. The next thing you know, a year later, you guys is married. I'm like, dang,
moving way
that's
too
quick.
fast from one BPD girly to another. Which, I mean, honestly, like, regardless of Miles's situation, I don't appreciate comments like this either. Like, it's none of our business how fast people move. Like, people are just way too involved in some influencers' lives. Brooke responded saying, "We've been together for a year. I'm almost 30. Ha ha ha. Why are we talking like I'm 18?" Which, I mean,
I think more so the reason why people they talk on that, and I mean, I don't like me. I don't go out my way to like because like I said, I don't be paying attention to stuff like this. I'm like, whatever a person's relationship is, that's their business. I guess if somebody did ask me for my opinion on this, I'm like, yeah, a year is pretty fast. I'm like, to be moving, because it's like you don't even really. I guess like if you guys talk all the time, you know each other, you know what each other are about, like, then okay, this like, all right, then that would make sense. But I guess like if you are still discovering each other and figuring that things out, then yeah, it's like, yeah, you might want to wait on it, because it's like it's a situation where it's like, okay, you guys get married 2-3 years down the road, then y'all end up divorcing, and it's like, yeah, it's like you guys moved a little bit too quick and things. But yeah, it's one of those things though where I'm like, hey, but that's their business, that's their lifestyle. It ain't like, okay, it ain't like where I'm gonna be at the wedding talking about, wait, no, wait a minute, don't y'all get married and stuff. It's one of those things where I'm about like, hey, look, I'm like, that's your guys' business. I ain't gonna be tripping about it. But anyways.
fair. One TikToker posted this saying,
Brooke Schofield getting married after only knowing this predator of a man for 4 months makes perfect sense. Like, it actually makes perfect sense when you're thinking about the fact that she has BPD and the way that she talked about her ex in the past. She's like, no, I was so brainwashed. Like, I'll never do that again. Never be unmedicated, you guys. People do heal. It's just the perfect example of you can never get rid of the disease that is PPD, because people are telling her, like, no, babe, you need to, like, get the freak out of there. He's love bombing you. He's a terrible person. He's a pet. He's all of these things, and she's just ignoring it and being like, no, guys, it's totally fine. It just totally reminds me of all of the relationships I've ever been in, where I defended that man with my entire life, and he literally, like, could have, like, killed my whole family or something, and I still would have defended him.
Fam, who is you in a relationship with? I'm like, yeah, if I gotta like look at somebody like this and things, I'm like, nah, I don't think this relationship's gonna work. I'm like, yeah, if I have to like look at her like this and she's over there just doing this with a couple of knives, I'm like, fam, we finished our dinner. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, put them knives in the dishwasher. I'm like, you know what? Matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and head out. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty much. It's funny how I'm like wearing this shirt, and I'm like, yeah, I had to pull one of those. I had to pull a good old fashioned SpongeBob. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and head out. I'm like, I can see that I'm probably gonna end up in a Lifetime movie, and I don't want that. I like living. I like being able to do things like record videos, talk with you guys and stuff. But yeah, I'm like, yeah, it's one of those things. I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and dip. I'm like, I think that's the safest thing I could do. Run run to a police station or something. But anyways,
Like, it's just so crazy how our brains work, how the chemicals in our brains work. But yeah, Brooke, girl, get a fucking grip. You're already racist. Like, just don't do this.
To which Brooke responded to, commenting, "You actually can't talk about me with bangs like that now that I think about it." A lot of people did come to Brooke's defense on here, with commentators saying, "She's a mean girl, but you made an entire video about her and her personal life and who she marries affects you how? Y'all are so mad at people who would never know you exist unless you made hateful videos about their personal life." And honestly, I completely agree. Like, this comment just sums up exactly what I believe. Brooke then addressed the comment in a now deleted TikTok.
So yesterday I made a negative comment about somebody's appearance on their video, okay? And I want to talk about it. Every single day I see tens of thousands of horrible, nasty, disgusting comments about myself. And everybody around me will tell me, you know, don't stoop to their level. You are above that. You are too classy for that. And no, I'm not. I've always found it interesting because someone will post
I'm like, there's at times, you know, I go back to my old ways. Yeah, somebody says some stuff. I'm like, I'll find myself, you know, but I came from a family of like, you know, of learning roasting and stuff. So it's like, I can't just let that ability go. You know, I can't just let that ability fade. So yeah, I mean, there's been times I ain't called people, Wreck-It Ralph. What else have I was like, there's the one guy that I was getting into it with. I called him Lord Farquaad. It's like a lot of like cartoon references and stuff. I'm trying to think what else have I said about people. Yeah, I said some things, but I'm like, those are the two memorable ones. Wreck-It Ralph and Lord Farquaad. But anyways,
horrible, rancid video about me ever. And then when I comment on it, immediately the responses are like, "Girl, you are so embarrassing, fighting for your life," in the comments. Like, yeah, I am. I'll give you the spark notes of the video that I commented on, okay? Basically, she said that I have been in horrible relationship after horrible relationship because I have borderline personality disorder, and therefore I am incapable of having a healthy and happy relationship. And it's so embarrassing that I got engaged yesterday, and she can't wait to see it crash and burn. And let me be clear, I have shared details online that I did not owe anybody, okay, about my horrible, abusive, terrible relationships that I've experienced in the past, not to have them thrown back in my face. And just the same, I talk about borderline personality disorder to help other people, not to have it weaponized against me. I'm 28 years old. I got engaged to my fiance, who is 37 years old. I do not care if you think it's too soon for us to get married. Believe it or not, someone with a personality disorder is actually capable of making human, normal decisions. I commented and I said, "I don't think you should be able to make videos about me when your bangs look like that." She had micro bangs, which are a slay. However, hers were at an angle. Okay, forgive me. They were at an angle. I don't care what you say. I would venture to say that commenting on somebody's bangs versus trying to ruin literally the most special, exciting time of their lives, incomparable. There is not a single time that I open this app and I don't see a comment or a video about my physical appearance. I'm uncanny valley, my filler looks awful, my eyelids look awful, I lost too much weight, whatever it may be. Thousands of the comments on my engagement yesterday were about how they cannot believe I am marrying a bald man. Oh no. When I say something back to those
I'm like, dang, I'm like, that's how people be like disrespecting the bald community. I'm like, dang, we can't help it. I'm like, you know, it's just I would love to have like you know, dreads or like some, but I'm like, man, this, you know, having hair though, it's a lot of work. Like I remember I had a mohawk and I had a fade, and I was like, bro, I'm about to just Michael Jordan it. I'm like, yeah, there was beginning of the pandemic. I just say, you know what, bump all that. I'm pulling the Michael Jordan, and then yeah, it's like, you know, it's a bald. The thing is this though, clean cuts and bald, less work. I'm like, so I'm not saying everybody got to do it, but yeah, you know, you got people like me where it's just, you know, it's it gets to a point where I'm like, I'm tired. I'm done with this. I'm like, we just gotta go ahead, pull a Michael Jordan, pull a Tupac, Shaq, something. But anyways, because I would rather have that than to be having it where it's like, you know, you got people out there that be spray painting. So it's like out here, Washington, it gets hot. I get the sweat and did that stuff. It's like, you know, it went from like hair to eyeliner or something. I'm like, it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm not going to do that to myself, you know. So I'm like, in wigs, I ain't trying to be in the middle of a fight and then it gets snatched off, and now I really gotta, you know, start like throwing hands and doing stuff. So that's, I'm like, yeah, but hair is just at times it's you know, like facial hair, I'm like, yeah, I'm cool with this, but yeah, it's just, as far as up, I'm like, nah. I'm like, we going bald, bruh.
People, I am a mean girl. I am disgusting. I have the nastiest energy of all time. You know what? Your bangs are crooked.
One user commented, she thinks the thousands of comments were because he's bald, LMFAO. to which someone else responded saying she knows it's not about him being bald. Another user said, I don't see any other influencers responding to hate the way she does. She adds fuel to the fire. She needs to disable comments on Instagram and TikTok and log off and go on vacation. Which, funny enough, she actually is on vacation.
Oh, wow.
She's on her, like, engagement moon or whatever that is. Which just makes it
That's a
actually
thing?
insane to me. Like, go enjoy the sun, girl. Go enjoy your new fiance.
Usually it's like they be on vacation and then they announce the engagement at the end of the vacation, then they come back, and I thought that, but you go like, what, you get engaged and then you go on a vacation for the, I ain't never seen that before. But
I know what, it can be hard. Like, listen, I had the slightest little bit of exposure on the internet, and even that back in the day could have gotten too much for me to handle, so I can understand getting like
I remember that time
too caught up
frame.
into the comments and needing to respond to everything, but ultimately
But it was I don't know, I guess like maybe if it was the fans of that creator, but I mean, like I don't know, I feel like that, yeah, Hot Tea, at least for I could say for myself, she gained a fan out of me and things because I was invested. Yeah, I remember that time frame of finding out about Hot Tea. Yeah, it was like, yeah, if you guys was like watching my videos back then, back in like that 2020, 2021 like era and stuff, yeah, I was addicted. Like, not even gonna lie. Like, I was like, anytime when Hot Tea, when she would upload a video on her Hot Tea channel or any other channel, I was invested. I was watching the story times, these videos, all that. So
best thing you can do for your mental health is to just ignore all of it, block all of it out, and focus on doing you and getting your job done, which, to Brooke right now is the canceled podcast. So I'm curious actually to see what her response would be if she's going to actually address any of this at all on the canceled podcast.
probably not.
We'll see. And if she does, you know where you're gonna get a recap of it. So until then, here is a little palate cleanser.
Brooke Schofield got engaged today. It is June 26, 2025.
yeah, yeah, it's one of those things though where yeah, I mean, like, whatever that girl's business is, it's like, yeah, it's just that's between her and the people that are involved. But her, like, the name sounds familiar. Hold on, I'm gonna so she does have a Wikipedia page. So she no, okay, so it's not movies. I'm like, where is this? It has to be that Schofield name, because I'm like, John Schofield, Soldier, Philip, no. Dang, where'd that television? No. I like see like actor. Hold on for a second. Paul. No, that's not it. David Schofield. Is that it? English actor? Actor. Hold on for a second. Selected. Nope. This ain't it. Dang, it's like, where did I see that name at? I'm like, man, that name, no, that ain't it. That's crazy. I'm like, the name it sounds familiar. I just don't know where exactly. Paul Schofield. There's like English actor, film. Nah. I'm like, yeah, he one of them, like, he's one of those like old timer actors. I'm like, I ain't really seen David. No, yeah, that's the same guy. I don't know where I seen that name at. It's one of those things where I'm like, yeah, maybe one day it might hit. It's be like 2-3 in the morning, then that's when they'll hit me. I'm like, that's where I seen that name at. But anyways, no, yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, it's one of those things though that I was gonna say about her acknowledging like the allegations and stuff. Yeah, it's something where it's like, I know people are gonna find this funny, but it's like, I'm a wrestling fan, not so much being a wrestling fan finding funny, but just what I'm using it as an example, because there's at times when like wrestlers, they'll get caught up in some stuff and they don't even acknowledge it. Like, they go out there, they'll say like, oh, I'm fighting such and such for the WWE championship and things. It's like, okay, but what about that stuff that happened over the weekend? Like, we just gonna ignore that? All right, we just gonna ignore it. They next thing you know, they had whatever pay-per-view wrestling thing. So yeah, it's just at times like that's the best thing that they can do, just not acknowledge that stuff, and then yeah, move on and things. But anyways, but yeah, I'm like, hopefully, all this stuff that she got going on, it works out for her, from the engagement, podcast cancellation and stuff. So, but Anyways, yeah, make sure if you guys have it though, go subscribe to Hot Tea, show love, show support, like, subscribe to me too, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.